tell me a little bit about your thoughts and the process. And
Sure. So obviously we talked about quite a bit about the the prospect of an engagement and everything like that. So we've talked about what you might like and things like that. So we tried on a few rings, and there's certain kinds that she liked. So I got a good idea. And then the one speculation that she did make was that it was rose gold.
I'll tell you, Natalie, that Greg was a little bit nervous, I think, on the first night. Man, we talked a lot, probably a little bit too much.
Right.
And I think his head was spinning, by the end of the night. But from there, we kind of traded quite a few emails back and forth, right?
Right. Yeah. Lots of emails.
Lots of emails.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's crazy too, because I'd get emails from you like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Kind of give me renderings, and like I'm foggy eyed, looking at the renderings and making sure she's not doesn't get a peek or anything like that. I'm looking at the renderings, and they're always so great. And then obviously in the back of your mind though, you're like, what edits should I make, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just great to be able to kind of go back and forth and kind of really hash out exactly what this became and everything like that. So we figure out the final design, and I think from there also trying to figure out what diamond to pick and everything like that, and finally choosing the stone, and then it coming all together in the rendering and the video. And then all of a sudden, you send me the wax mold after you sent it over, and you kind of see it physically, and it's all coming together, and then you just can't wait for the final product to come out, so you can see what it looks like in person.
Mm-hmm. So choosing the diamond part kind of boiled down to just seeing it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. Seeing it in daylight for sure too. Just so.
We went out on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Thought we were gonna need like our own entourage. But we went outside. And they stick out. It sticks out to you. It really does. And I spent hours upon hours looking at different stones online.
I know you did.
If you guys can track that, I'm sure you can see in me. But yeah, there are so many different codes that I wrote down. Gotta see this one. But it really did just come down to seeing it in person.
But then you had to think about how to actually ask her that moment.
Yeah, and that was almost worse than actually designing the ring, because all this work goes into the ring process, obviously, and then I come in here one day and you're like, oh, here's the ring, and I'm like, well, what do I do now? kind of a thing, because I actually figured out the date that I want to do it, because we actually got engaged July 7th, 2017, so 7/7/17. So I knew that was the day. It was a Friday. I took off work, probably months ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. He's a thinker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
And I just didn't know where. I mean, there's so many good areas that in Western New York that you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But what would be right for us was kind of what I was thinking. I started looking at gazebos and overhangs and things like that. And the gazebo in Elkaville really stuck out. We were there for a half marathon last fall. It's just gorgeous down in Elkaville. And there's a church behind it, and just a lot of good scenery down there. So I was like, that's perfect. And then I can also have my family members. They can go down there and I can give them all the things to set it up with. And we had a Bluetooth radio for music, and rose petals.
Music.
So so it was it worked out great. Her ring itself, it was kind of a Beauty and the Beast-esque kind of like a design behind it. And there's actually a song from Beauty and the Beast that was playing when I proposed.
Mm-hmm.
And it just came together really well in the end. Better than I would have thought. Really, a little nervous about it, but.
So Natalie, let's hear your side of the story. How did this all go down? What were you thinking? Why do you think you were even there? Did you have any suspicion or?
I had some idea because I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when, and it felt like I was waiting forever. But my friend, I'm in her wedding in October, and she had texted me saying me and her fiance Pedro want to go to EBC, the brewery down there, to check it out for the rehearsal dinner. And I was kind of confused by that because their wedding is in Akron at a barn, and I was like, why would you drive that far for the rehearsal? So I was a little suspicious there. But then he had another one of my friends throw me off. Actually, I'm in her wedding too in December, and say they were going to go to the Gorge to take engagement photos like the next day, and I had mentioned that would be a pretty place to get engaged too, so I was kind of like, I just had no idea. So we drive down to Ellicott though to meet, well, I think to meet April and Pedro, and I texted him like, oh, we're here, where are you guys? And she's like, oh, we're running a little late, we'll probably be there in like 15 minutes. And so Greg was like, oh, let's just go walk around. So he parks, and I start trying to walk the other way, like towards town, and he was like, no, let's go this way. So we're walking up, and I actually get distracted by one of his friends. I'm looking because she was sitting on a park bench, but I didn't know it was her, and except like by her hair. I'm looking this way, and I'm like, that looks like Jen, like somebody we know, and his sister's over here trying to get pictures of us walking up, and I didn't see. And all of a sudden I look at the gazebo, and it's all decorated with, he had rose petals like on the ground, he had a table in the center with a huge bouquet of flowers, he had wood things with our initials in the back, and like pictures of us hanging up. And I like look at it, and it takes me a second like to recognize, like, oh my gosh. And then they started playing one of the songs from Beauty and the Beast by Celine Dion, How Does a Moment Last Forever. And Beauty and the Beast is my absolute favorite movie, so I was like, oh my gosh. And he, you know, got down on one knee and said my full name and asked me to marry him, and I of course started crying and everything. But it's really nice because both my parents and my grandma was there. Both his parents and his sisters were there, and it was really special to have my grandma there because she lives in Maryland and she was up for the summer. So I was really, like, that was the one thing I was like, you have to propose before my grandma goes home. And she was leaving in like 5 days, so I didn't know when he was going to do it.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
To have the whole family there. Wow, that's a great plan. Yeah.
All came together.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.